Hello and welcome to today's mini webinar, Professional Visitor or Sales Professional. Today's training is for business owners, CEOs, managing directors and general managers, and for those of you who have a title of sales manager, whether you're managing a state, a national sales manager, or perhaps you are in a regional role. I'm really glad you're here today. For those of you who haven't met me or I haven't met you, my name's Paul Puckridge. I'm the training director here at the Success Institute. Thank you for being here. My email address and phone number are on the screen, and if after you've watched this you'd like to reach out, it'd be great to do so. Many years ago, I saw this book in a bookshop and it immediately drew my attention. Why? Because the title says it all when it comes to territory management or account management. If you don't have a plan, stay in the car. I've got a question for you. In your role as a sales manager or business owner, are your salespeople maximizing their sales opportunities during every sales call? And are they doing it as best they can? The reason I asked that question is some time ago I was having a conversation with a new sales manager, and so he decided to go out on a number of sales visits with his people. He called me because he was quite concerned with what he saw. He attended a number of visits with multiple account managers over a number of territories. And when we got on the phone, he said to me, Paul, I'm a little concerned because it seems like when I went out to meet customers with my salespeople, we were having social visits and not making sales calls. My salespeople love to sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk about the footy or whatever was in the news, but they weren't really there for the specific aim of trying to find an opportunity to sell. Can you help me out? And of course, I was able to assist that sales manager. And so this leads me to some interesting questions today. Thinking about your people, do you have professional visitors in your sales team or sales professionals? And I know you're going to say, well, Paul, of course I have sales professionals, and I'm sure you do. But I'm just wondering if each of your people, from the most recent to the person who's been with you the longest, is doing everything they can to maximize every meeting with a key customer or a prospective customer. So I'm going to ask you a few questions right now, and I want you to rate the answer from 1 to 5. 1 meaning there's no way we do this, or my salespeople do this, I've never observed them doing it. And of course 5 would indicate they do this every single time. And how do you know? Because you've been out recently with your sales team on sales calls. 1 to 5. Every member of my sales team discusses their quarterly and monthly sales strategies for specific A customers and A prospects with me at the start of every month. Would you agree or disagree? Does each of your people sit down and not just have a conversation around their budget, but do they tell you the strategy they're going to use this month to win over prospects and to secure additional sales with key customers? 1 to 5. How would you rate each of your people? 1 to 5. Each of my sales team confirms every sales appointment to see their A customers and A prospects at specific times for the week ahead or for the fortnight ahead. The reason I ask you that question is I know there are many salespeople who will just get in a car, drive across their territory and just call in on a customer. And they wonder why their customers can't always see them, or the customer is preoccupied and busy doing something else. And I would certainly suggest that your people set up appointments at specific times in the week to see A customers and of course A prospects. So how would you rate your people from 1 to 5? Alright, 1 to 5. Each member of my sales team explains the specific purpose of the sales call to their customers or prospects when they're confirming future sales appointments. Again, this has come from years of working with sales managers. I have sales managers tell me, Paul, my people, they'll ring up and say, I'm coming out to your area next week. I'd like to come and see you. And the customer goes, yeah, sure, come on in. But there's no specific agenda. And of course, without any agenda, then your people may gravitate towards having a cup of coffee or taking an order, not necessarily looking for new business opportunities or to upsell or to cross-sell. All right, 1 to 5, before getting out of their car and going in to see a customer or prospect, each of my salespeople reviews their previous call records, last sales made, conversations, and reconfirms a specific strategy-focused sales goal for that call. Again, I refer back to sales managers that I've worked with over many years who've told me that they've observed their people grab their diary, grab their notebook, hop out of the car, head in to see a customer without any specific plan. Now, I'm sure that not all of your people would do that, but are there some that do? Or do you have salespeople who sit in the car, go through their CRM system, look at what was purchased last month and the month before, look at what was purchased last year and do a comparison? Do they also consider new products that have been launched or new opportunities? Do they have a specific strategy so that when they're with that customer, they can maximize the time they're there? Also, are they looking to help the customer grow his or her business? And of course, that applies to prospects as well. 1 to 5, when each of my sales team calls in on a customer or prospect and they say they are busy, they usually never wait around for more than 10 minutes. I've had salespeople tell me they've waited an hour to see a customer. Well, that might make sense if you've had to drive 500 kilometers and there's nowhere else to go. But if you have a busy territory and you've got other customers to see, then waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting is not necessarily a productive use of your time. It probably teaches your customers or prospects that you don't have other things to do. There are specific strategies that you and your salespeople can use to really make your key customers and prospects appreciate the value that your salespeople are adding to their businesses. Personally, I wouldn't wait around for more than 10 minutes unless there was a darn good reason why I had to, or I had nothing else on for the day, which would be unlikely. In fact, the strategy that I would teach, if that was to happen, would put the advantage in your favor, because we can make customers feel a little guilty that they stood us up. And maybe they stood us up because of good reason, but certainly we want to teach our customers that we are key people of influence, so we're there to help them, not just to write up an order, which pretty much anyone could do. We're there to add value to their business. So do your people have that same value and appreciation for their time and, of course, their customers and prospects' time? All right, 1 to 5. During the first few minutes of a sales call, my sales team don't spend lengthy amounts of time drinking coffee and talking about the footy and so on. Would you say that every one of your salespeople sees this opportunity as a sales meeting and not a social visit? Do they go there with a specific goal in mind? 1 to 5. During the first part of each sales call, my salespeople don't do most of the talking. It's during this stage they listen rather than discuss new products and special offers. You know, the best salespeople are good at listening. In other words, rather than saying, hey, thanks for seeing me, I wanted to show you some new products that we've got, blah, 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 they might sit down and say something like, so tell me, how have sales been for whatever product you sell or service you sell over the past month? Tell me about business. Tell me about your people. What's happening in the marketplace? What are you doing about that? In other words, they become people of influence and not friendly sales reps. Do your salespeople know how to build chemistry and create rapport, and also learn about the customer's business by asking questions and listening? And only once they've established that rapport and they know where to take the sales conversation do they then discuss the opportunities that they might have for the customer. 1 to 5, all of my sales team conducts a call review in their car after each sales call. When your people finish the call, do they go back to the car and do an analysis? What went well? What could I have done better? What did I sell? Could I have offered something more? How could I have increased more opportunity? What have I learned about the customer and what's happening in his or her business? And do they take a moment to write notes into their CRM program? Or do they try and leave it till the end of the day when they've probably forgotten a whole lot of information? Do they use that time in their car for just a couple of minutes to look at how they can help that customer further, and also create good notes for next time they have that meeting? How do you think your people have gone? Take a moment and just have a quick think about some of those questions. Well, let's consider how you think they scored. We're not taking formal scores right now, but would you say that every time I asked a question, you scored a 5? If so, that's probably a near perfect score. Or are you not quite sure what's actually happening when your salespeople are visiting customers and prospects? And even if they're making budget or getting close to budget, is there an opportunity by improving the way they manage these interactions, they could sell more products and services? So would they be up there at the perfect level? Are they kind of 50-50? They're doing pretty good, but there's opportunity to learn and grow. Are they not so good, or perhaps even need to improve the way that they do things? As their sales manager, is there room for improvement? Because if there is, then helping your people engage more with customers, become that person of influence, maximize every sales call will help your customer improve what's happening in their business, but also ensure that your salespeople are maximizing every call and also looking for and creating sales opportunities. So being more effective in managing a territory is really about taking greater control. A couple of things before we finish up today. I have a report called 7 Sales Secrets for Making the Most from Each and Every Sales Call, and I'll be preparing to send that to you shortly with my compliments and as a way of saying thank you for watching these webinars. In the meantime, if you would like to learn more about a program that is designed to help your sales representatives become more dollar productive and to be able to achieve more in every sales call with your customers and prospects, then could I recommend the Time and Territory Management Training Program to you. It's Australia's leading one-day program specifically to help busy account managers and territory reps better manage their time, their customer conversations, and what happens from a sales perspective within their territory. And if you'd like to know more about that, then you'll be able to reach out to me in a second. So here's my phone number, my email address. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I provoked you today. I hope I got you thinking about what your people are doing or perhaps aren't doing. And if it's been a little while since you've been out with your salespeople to meet your key customers or key prospects, then perhaps it's a good opportunity to think about how you might do that over the coming weeks or months. Hey, thanks for watching. It's been great having you here. That's the end of today's webinar. I look forward to providing you something new in the near future. So until we talk together again, I wish you every success.